What happens when Hollywood's toughest cowboy faces his greatest fear in front of 300 people? When John Wayne, the man who never showed weakness, finally break. December 3rd, Tucson, Arizona. The moment that nobody talks about changed everything. The desert sun burns overhead. The temperature hits 98 degrees at noon. Old Tucson Studios buzzes with activity. 300 extras in period costumes. 50 crew members are setting up cameras. The production of The Sons of Katie Elder is already 2 weeks behind schedule. John Wayne sits on his horse, 6'4", 260 pounds, 57 years old. The Duke. America's hero. The man who won the West 100 times on screen. But today something's different. His hands grip the reins too tightly. His jaw clenches. His eyes scan the set with an urgency nobody's seen before. Director Henry Hathaway checks his watch. They're burning daylight and money. Duke, are we ready? Wayne nods. But it's not his usual confident nod. It's forced, mechanical, like a man going through motions while his mind races elsewhere. The scene seems simple enough. Wayne's character rides into town, dismounts, and walks into the saloon. They've rehearsed it twice. It should take 1, maybe 2 takes. Hathaway's worked with Wayne for 20 years. He knows the man never needs more than 2 takes for anything. Action. Wayne spurs his horse forward. The animal moves smoothly and easily, trained for film work. They approach the saloon. Wayne pulls the reins. The horse stops. Wayne starts to dismount. Then it happens. His right foot catches in the stirrup. For a split second, he's off balance. The horse shifts slightly. Wayne's weight pulls wrong. He's falling. Not a controlled stunt fall. A real fall. His left foot hits the ground awkwardly. His right foot is still trapped. The horse takes a step. Cut. Hathaway screams. Stunt coordinators rush forward. Extras freeze. Everyone watches John Wayne struggle with his foot in the stirrup. 2 seconds that feel like hours. He yanks free, stumbles, and catches himself against the hitching post. He's not hurt. Not physically. But something else breaks. Something nobody on that set has ever seen break before. Wayne's face goes white. Not from pain. From memory. Hathaway approaches carefully. Duke, you good? Wayne doesn't answer. Can't answer. He's not in Tucson anymore. He's somewhere else. Somewhere darker. His hands shake. The man who faced down villains in 100 films, who charged into battle without flinching, who embodied American courage, stands there shaking. Get me a chair, Wayne manages to say, voice barely above a whisper. Have you ever seen your hero become human? That moment when the myth cracks, and you see the man underneath. It changes how you see everything. They bring a chair. Wayne sits heavily, pulls off his hat. Sweat pours down his face, but it's not from the heat. His makeup artist, Webb Overlander, who's worked with Wayne for 15 years, approaches with water. Duke, what's wrong? Wayne takes the water. His hand shakes so badly that he spills half of it. Give me 5 minutes. Hathaway waves the crew back. Take 5, everyone. But everyone stays close, watching, worried. John Wayne doesn't take breaks. John Wayne doesn't shake. John Wayne doesn't look scared. Ward Bond, Wayne's closest friend on set, pulls up another chair, sits quietly, knows when to talk and when to wait. After 3 minutes, Wayne speaks. My father, he says. Clyde Morrison. Bond nods, knows the story. Everyone close to Wayne knows about his father, but not this part. Never this part. I was 6, Wayne continues. Maybe 7. Dad took me to his pharmacy in Iowa. Let me sit on one of the horses outside. Those wooden ones. You put a nickel in, they rock back and forth. His voice sounds distant, like he's watching it happen again. The horse was broken. Rocked too hard. I fell. Foot caught in the stirrup. Dragged me. Dad ran out but. Wayne stops. Swallows hard. But he was drunk. Always drunk by afternoon. Couldn't help. Just stood there while I screamed. 300 people on set. Nobody moves. Nobody breathes. The customer finally stopped the horse. Pulled me free. But I'll never forget lying there looking up at my father. Seeing him helpless. Seeing him as worthless. Seeing him fail me. Bond puts a hand on Wayne's shoulder. That was 50 years ago, Duke. Doesn't matter, Wayne says. Every time I get on a horse, I check the stirrups. Every time. Make sure they're loose enough. Make sure I can pull free. Been doing it for 40 years in films. Never had a problem. Until today. He looks at his boot. The same boot that caught. Today I became him. Helpless. Stuck. And everyone saw. Hathaway approaches. He's directed Wayne in 8 films. Never seen him vulnerable. Duke, we can use a double for the mount. Nobody would know. Wayne's head snaps up. The shaking stops. His eyes go hard. No. Duke, I said no. Wayne stands. All 6'4" of him. I've spent my whole life making sure I'm nothing like Clyde Morrison. I'm not starting now. He walks back to the horse. The animal stands patiently. Trained. Professional. Wayne runs his hand along its neck. Speaks quietly. You and me, we're gonna do this right. But the crew sees something they've never seen before. Wayne is checking the stirrups. Not once. Not twice. 3 times. Adjusting them. Dean Martin watches from the shade. He's co-starring in the film. Known Wayne for 10 years, never seen him rattled. He walks over. Duke, that was a hell of a spill. Wayne looks at him. You know what the difference is between a hero and a coward, Dean? What's that? A hero's just a coward who's too stubborn to quit. Martin grins. That sounds like something John Wayne would say. No, Wayne corrects. That's something Marion Morrison learned. John Wayne just acts it out. They reset for the scene. Wayne mounts again. Smooth this time. Professional. But everyone watching sees the moment before he swings up. The pause. The deep breath. The man conquers the boy's fear. Action. Wayne rides forward. Approaches the saloon. Dismounts clean. Walks through the doors. Perfect take. Cut. Beautiful. Hathaway calls. But Wayne doesn't stop at his mark inside the saloon. Keeps walking. Out the back. Around the building. Where nobody can see him, leans against the wall, and breathes like he's just run 10 miles. Maureen O'Hara finds him there. She's not in this film, just visiting the set. Old friend, one of the few who knew him before he was John Wayne. Hello Marion, she says, using his real name, the one nobody uses anymore. He looks at her, eyes wet. I became him today, Maureen. Just for a second, I became my father. No, she says firmly. You fell off a horse. Your father fell into a bottle. There's a difference. Is there? I froze. In front of everyone. John Wayne froze. O'Hara steps closer. John Wayne is a character you play. Marion Morrison is the man who got back on the horse. Don't confuse the two. Think about the masks we wear, the roles we play. How exhausting must it be to pretend you're invincible when you're just as scared as everyone else? Word spreads across the set about Wayne's fall, but more than that, about his recovery, about the fear in his eyes and the way he faced it. The crew starts talking, sharing their own stories. The key grip mentions his fear of ladders after a fall in 50. The camera operator talks about his hands shaking on the first day of every film. The costume designer admits she still checks every seam 3 times because a costume tore during a crucial scene once. By afternoon, something's changed on the old Tucson set. The hierarchy that makes Wayne untouchable, unreachable begins to crack. Not because he fell, because he got up, because he admitted fear, because he showed them John Wayne was just a man playing a part. During the next scene, a young extra approaches, maybe 22. Fresh-faced, nervous. Mr. Wayne. Wayne turns. Usually extras don't talk to stars. It's an unwritten rule. But today feels different. Yeah, son, I just wanted to say, my dad was a drunk too. I know what it's like. The helplessness. The anger. Wayne studies the kid, sees himself 50 years ago.
What's your name? Robert. Robert Thompson? Well, Robert Thompson, let me tell you something I learned. You can spend your life running from your father's ghost, or you can stop and face it. Either way, it's gonna catch you. Might as well be on your terms. The kid nods. Tries to speak, can't. Wayne puts a hand on his shoulder. You workin' tomorrow? Yes, sir. Good. Find me at lunch. We'll talk more. The kid walks away differently, straighter, like something heavy just lifted. They shoot for 6 more hours. Wayne nails every take, but between setups, people notice him doing something new, talking to the extras, learning names, asking about their lives. The wall between star and supporting cast crumbles piece by piece. Near sunset, they prepare for the final shot, a wide panorama of Wayne riding into the distance. The hero is heading into another adventure, the image that will end up on posters. But first, Wayne gathers the stunt riders, 6 men who've doubled for him over the years, men who've taken the falls he couldn't, men who've made him look heroic. I owe you boys an apology, he says. They look confused. Chuck Roberson, his main double, speaks up. For what, Duke? For pretending I was different, better, for letting you take the risks while I took the credit, for 50 years of acting like John Wayne was real and you boys were just shadows. He looks at each of them. You've broken bones for me, bled for me, made me look brave when I was safe, and I've been too proud to admit I needed you. That changes today. The stunt writers don't know what to say. This isn't how Hollywood works. Stars don't acknowledge doubles. Heroes don't admit fear. From now on, Wayne continues, you eat where I eat. You sit where I sit. Anyone who has a problem that talk to me. You're not my shadows. You're my partners. They film the final shot as the sun sets. Wayne rides into the distance. The cameras capture the iconic silhouette, the image of American strength. But everyone on set knows they're filming something different now. Not John Wayne, the myth. Marion Morrison, the man. And somehow that makes him more heroic. That night, Wayne stays late, sits with Hathaway reviewing dailies, watching himself fall, watching himself get up, watching himself change. You know what you did today? Hathaway asks. Made a fool of myself? No. You showed 300 people it's okay to be human. Do you know how rare that is? How powerful?
Wayne stares at the screen, at himself. At the moment, he became his father, and then became something else. I've been running from that pharmacy in Iowa for 50 years, Henry. Maybe it's time to stop running. Wayne nods slowly. Maybe it is. The film wraps up 2 months later. The Sons of Katie Elder becomes a hit. Critics praise Wayne's performance. Call it deeper, more nuanced, more human. They don't know about the fall, about the fear, about the moment John Wayne let Marion Morrison through. But the 300 people on set that day know, and they talk about it for decades. Not about watching John Wayne fall, about watching him get back up, about watching him choose courage over pride, about the day the myth became a man, and somehow became more mythic for it. Robert Thompson, the young extra, goes on to become a stunt coordinator, trains hundreds of riders, always tells them the story, about fear, and fathers, and falling, about getting back on the horse, about the day John Wayne taught him heroism isn't about being scared. It's about being scared and saddling up anyway. Wayne made 20 more westerns after The Sons of Katie Elder, rides in all of them. Never uses a double for the mounting scenes. Always check the stirrups 3 times. Not because he's afraid, because he remembers. Because facing the fear is what makes the hero. In 1976, Wayne filmed his last movie, The Shootist. There's a scene where his character, dying of cancer, mounts his horse for the final time. Wayne, also fighting cancer in real life, insists on doing it himself. No doubles, no tricks. He checks the stirrups 3 times. The crew, some of whom were there in Tucson 12 years earlier, watched silently. They know what those 3 checks mean. They know what mountain he's climbing every time. He mounts clean, rides tall. The cameras roll. The director calls cut. Wayne dismounts, pats the horse, and walks away. Nobody mentions the tears in his eyes. Heroes are allowed to cry when they conquer their demons. John Wayne died June 11, 1979. Stomach cancer. In his personal effects, they found a letter, never sent, addressed to Robert Thompson, that young extra from Tucson. Kid, you asked me about fathers and fear and falling. Here's what I learned too late. The ghost you run from is the teacher you need. The fear you face is the strength you find. The fall you take is the rise you make. Don't wait 50 years to learn that. Your friend Duke. P.S. John Wayne is who I played. Marion Morrison is who I was. The day I fell in Tucson, I finally learned the difference. Be yourself, kid. It's the hardest role you'll ever play, but it's the only one that matters. The letter hangs framed now in the Stuntmen's Association of Motion Pictures Hall. Below it, a photo from that day in Tucson. Wayne is on the ground, foot caught in the stirrup. Not a heroic image, not a movie poster moment, just a man facing his deepest fear in front of 300 witnesses. The plaque reads, John Wayne played a hero. Marion Morrison became one. December 3, 1964. The day the Duke showed us that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's getting back on the horse. Every stunt rider who passes through those halls reads that letter, sees that photo, learns that lesson. That the toughest man in Hollywood was just a scared kid from Iowa who faced his demons 1 stirrup at a time. That's the John Wayne story Hollywood doesn't tell. Not the gunfights or the glory. The pharmacy in Iowa, the drunk father, the wooden horse, the 50-year fear, the day it caught him, the moment he caught it back. What ghost are you running from? What fear has chased you since childhood? What would happen if you stopped running? If you turned around? If you checked the stirrups 3 times and got on anyway? They don't make westerns like they used to. The horses are mostly digital now. The heroes are younger, prettier, safer. But somewhere in the ghost light of old Hollywood, Marion Morrison still checks those stirrups 3 times. Still shows us that falling isn't failing. It's just the first part of getting back up. And that's the real story of the Duke. Not the man who was never afraid. The man who was always afraid and saddled up anyway. Because that's what real heroes do. They fall. They remember why. They get back on. They ride into the sunset, stirrups checked, demons faced, fear conquered 1 mount at a time. The desert sun still burns hot in Tucson. Old Tucson Studios still stands. Tour guides tell stories about John Wayne filming there. They point out where he walked, where he rode, where he became a legend. But they don't mention the spot by the saloon where he fell. Where John Wayne ended, and Marion Morrison began. Where 300 people saw a hero become human, and a human become heroic. That may be the story that matters most. That could be the one we need to remember. Not the myth, the man. Not the legend, the lesson. That we all have stirrups that catch us, fathers who fail us, fears that chase us. And if John Wayne can fall and get back up, maybe we can too. Unfortunately, they don't make men like that anymore. Or maybe they do. Maybe they're just waiting for their moment to fall. Their chance to rise. Their time to show that heroes aren't born. They're made. 1 check stirrup at a time.